So hello everybody, my name is Francis Abogonye and I'm your tutor for today. All right. So if you're watching online, all right, today's class is all about presentation and how you can run a presentation, whether for a virtual call online or you're doing a presentation for, you're pitching to a board or maybe you're presenting to a team, basically. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, whether in a small, you are presenting in a small or to a small audience or a very, very large congregation, whichever one they still apply, they are still the same methods. So this is just going to be more of like a brief run through and a summarized version of it. So we don't go too in depth in this particular topic, and we can just get a thing or two out of it with this limited time we have right here today. So I have an audience right here. This is a small sized audience, more of like my team. All right. So I'm presenting to them right here, and they all have pen and paper out and they're writing one or two things. So you two watching can also have a pen and paper and follow along. All right, so like the topic says, as I have on screen right here, is which will also be on screen right there, how to make a great presentation. This is a step-by-step guide to communicate to any audience on stage, which is like offline or virtually online. All right, so to begin with, when it comes to presentation, okay, it is divided into three parts. All right, speech presentation, presentation techniques, audience awareness, and self-awareness. These are the procedures, or these are the processes we follow in terms of presenting anything at all. All right, you are saying something, there's speech involved. Okay, the technique you're going to be using to present it, as well as the audience you are speaking to. The audience is also very, very important, because in a moment you will see why the audience is very important as we get to them one by one. So to begin with, the first thing we'll be addressing right here is the speech presentation. So these are more of like the checklist of what we'll be looking at today. This is what you'll be finding in this class right here today. So to begin, we will start with speech presentation. So what does speech presentation entails? A speech presentation is publicly speaking to an audience with an intent to inform, demonstrate, explain, or persuade. The presentation is normally written, then performed, and includes an introduction, a body consisting of main focal points, and a conclusion. That's what the presentation basically have. So the idea is you are communicating to either inform, okay, demonstrate, or persuade. So that's the idea of a presentation, okay? And like it says right here, it is normally written. You want to write it down. Anything they are presenting, if you don't write it down, you might be jumping from one area to another. You might not be guided, okay? So now let's look at some of the categories of speech presentation categories. So in terms of speech now, it falls under four different categories, which we have informative, persuasive, motivational, and delivery. Delivery is the big one for me, because at the end of the day, what is the takeaway? All right, what will the person be taking away at the end of the day? So in terms of informative now, which is the first one here, sometimes we want to present, and when we're talking, we are trying to inform. I want you to know something. I want to update you. I want you to know about this product, this service, what I can do, and all of that. I just want to inform you. For example, I go out there and I'm talking to a client or a prospective client. I want to work with our team, and I'm telling the person about us. Okay, what I'll be doing at that moment is I'm just informing at first. Okay, and inside it, I might now go down the category step by step. All right, but the first thing I start with is informing. After informing, then I want to persuade in a way whereby you are having that conversation. Maybe that particular person now, you want them to take a particular action. You want them to work with us. Or you want their board, or maybe you're presenting to a board, you're pitching to a board, and you want them to sign our team up for maybe their marketing services or their advertising and all of that. After informing them, or during the process of informing, you also want to be persuading. All right? You also want to be persuading using different ideas or different things that they are currently, maybe you're talking to them and they are like, what's it called? They are saying, they've been spending money on advertising, they don't get much returns and all of that over the years. So when you are communicating also, you want to be persuading by saying things like maybe case studies of our previous clients. They've worked with other people have worked with us before. They've gotten results, okay? And just like you are bleeding money every single day, we can help you save money and also increase your ROI. Things like that already. In saying things like that, you're already persuading gradually. Okay, persuasion has a lot to do with influence. That's why you are influencing them already. Then you want to also be motivational. When you finish presenting, or when you are presenting to an audience, okay, for example, there are always key takeaways. As people are listening to you when you present, they are learning a thing or two, just like you are doing right now. All right. Now, the takeaways that they are going with, they need to also put it into practice, especially when you are presenting for people to take action, right? They need to put it into practice. So a form of motivation can step in. Motivation can come in different form. I can motivate people in different shape or form. I can tell you about my own experience. I can tell you about somebody's experience. I can tell you, you don't allow yourself be the enemy that stops your progress and all of that and all those cool stuff about motivation. And that can motivate somebody and all. Then at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I deliver. In terms of delivering now, that's where we talk about effective communication. I think I'll just write down here so that I don't forget. Effective communication. In terms of the delivery part now, if my presentation doesn't deliver, I have not effectively communicated. If my presentation, if I don't deliver, meaning if I don't solve that problem at the end of the day, like we say, what is a presentation? What is speech presentation? It has an intent to inform somebody, demonstrate, explain, or persuade, right? That's the end product of it. If at the end of the day, I've been able to inform, okay, persuade, motivate, and I didn't deliver, okay, the end goal, the end result is not achieved. That means I've not effectively communicated. All right, which means effective communication is I communicate, my audience also understands. So it's a two-way thing, right? These are the things you want to have at the back of your mind when you are talking, having a verbal presentation. So for presentation techniques now, which is the next thing, like we say, we have three. The first one we have is speech presentation techniques, which is number 2. And we have audience awareness and self-awareness, which is number 3. So right now we are under presentation techniques. So for presentation techniques now, we have improve your presentation skills. The first part is preparation. In terms of improving your presentation skills, you want to first of all prepare. Now, the other time when I was having a sales training with Bellevue Dental and Ataris Properties also, one of the things at the beginning of the sales script talks about is how to basically prepare yourself before a sales call. There are so many ways a lot of people do, or there are so many things a lot of people do before they come out for a presentation or get on a phone call. Phone call too, sales call is more of like a presentation as well, all right? Which has a lot to do with influence because you want to close somebody, you want them to buy something, okay? So preparation plays a huge role when it comes to presenting also. So in terms of preparation, all right, you want to first of all research your audience, which is you want to know who they are. Who are the people I am communicating with? What do they like? What are their values? What are their beliefs? You get? So when you are communicating with them, you can tailor things based on their interest. For example, I keep using this one every time. If I'm communicating with you guys now, okay, we're a branding and marketing firm, and I keep using examples of the medical field. I start talking like a doctor. I start using examples of the medical field non-stop, or I start using examples of construction or law non-stop. It will be a little bit difficult for you guys to comprehend. All right. So at first, I need to know my audience. Even if you are going to do a public speaking somewhere else, you need to know what kind of people will I be speaking to. Are they business-minded people? Are they CEOs? Are they overaged people? Who are they? You want to know them. So when you are communicating, you speak to that demographic. You understand? So that's the first one, which is researching your audience. You want to know the people first and know, okay, these are the people I am talking to, which is going to actually help you in terms of your preparation. Another thing under preparation is you need to know the people, okay, and you need to get your presentation structured properly. And you've practiced it, you know it very well. Dan Locke used to say one thing, he says, he believed in the power of negative preparation, meaning if you don't over prepare, he says it the opposite way, which you can say, I believe in the power of positive preparation, or I believe in the power of over preparing. Do you get my point? What that means is, if you are over prepared and you come to present your presentation, chances are your presentation will be brilliant. If you're not over prepared, you're not even ready, you don't have a structure, you understand, you might not even do very well. The likes of Gary Vee, he presents on stage a lot, and sometimes Gary Vee, on his way to the place he's going to present, okay, all he just needs to know is, what is the topic and who am I speaking to? He doesn't have slides, mostly doesn't have slides, okay, he doesn't have slides for the most part, but he just needs to know, what is the event about and who am I speaking to? Which people? What should I say to those people? They'll say, okay, talk about social media. That's all he needs to know in his head. That's all. It's already structured in his head the way he's going to position social media. You understand? And this event's about this. It is still part of structuring. You understand? So, and in that light, he doesn't need to memorize anything because he's mostly talking from his head. You just have a guide. Some people on their way to some presentation or to some event, on their way, that is when they'll carry their pen and their biro and just write number 1, this, number 2, this, number 3, this. You understand? And they'll just come and just maybe type it out or just hold it somewhere that they can see, and that's all. You understand? Gary Vee, I just noticed that for the most part, he just needs to start presenting based on what he have understand about the event, the audience. He knows them already, and he knows what he's about to tell them, and he's telling them. And at the end of it all, he does Q&A. Q&A takes the most part of his presentation. Okay, to summarize now, in terms of improving your presentation skills, the first thing you need to consider is preparation. You need to be prepared. If they say, come and present your weekly goals or your weekly target, you need to first arrange it. Okay? And you need to know that it's your team that you're speaking to. Then you also need to practice and be ready for it. All right? The next thing is verbal delivery. Verbal delivery. Now, in terms of verbal delivery, okay, let me just run through this one quickly. You need to have a brief introduction. Remember, I think it was Suchet or Vanessa that was presenting. I said that's why I said that thing, that we're going to have a presentation class. You want to talk now. The moment you want to start talking, okay, you want to introduce yourself first, no matter how long or short. You understand? I guess a lot of you know me here, but I still mention my name in this place. Right? So, or I just say something briefly about what I want to talk about. So when you are trying to present, you have a little bit of brief. I think that one, everybody does that one for the most part, about what you are presenting. The next thing is ask questions to keep your audience engaged. So you always want to ask questions. Some people come on stage and raise their hands first. Who here wants $100? Raise your hand if you want $100. That's the first thing some people come and do. I'm not saying you should raise your hand right now for $100 Friday. The next thing here in verbal delivery is speaking to your demographic, which you want to speak to your demographic, like I said earlier. Speak to the people you are talking to. Use their own example. If you are speaking to nursing mothers, you want to be speaking to nursing mothers. Keep using things that concerns nursing mothers. Don't go and start telling them about stay-at-home dads, which you know they are rare. You know. Then number 4 right here is work on your tone. The tonality, your tone. In his own sense, is a broad topic on his own. Okay, he has a lot to do with so many things in terms of persuasion, motivation, influencing, and all. Tonality varies, and how you apply them also matters a lot. Okay, there are some presentation you want to have. For example, if I'm not this presentation I'm currently having with you guys right now, I'm having it to inform. If I'm having a sales presentation, I want to sell a product or a service. Okay, the way I'm going to structure it is going to be in a way whereby I want to sell. So my tonality is going to vary here and there. Also in this presentation also, if I get to the point maybe I want to motivate or I want to influence or persuade, my tonality is definitely going to change. So you always want to work on your tone. That's why practice comes in play. People who go and do TED Talk, I guess, that have slide, they practice it, they rehearse it. They know where they use high pitch, they know where they use low pitch. You understand? They know where they go. They try to you know, take their vibes higher or where they bring it down. You know, it helps the presentation and helps the communication as well. So you need to work on your tone and know how your tonality is. For example, some people come on stage, they want to present and their voice is very tiny and very low. You understand? They hold the mic and their voice is tiny. Nobody is going to hear you. You understand? Your voice is small. You're just talking, and now so we're going to be looking at this or this or this or this. You might make your audience sleep. Do you get my point? You might make your audience sleep. That's why if you go to churches, you see pastors are usually they're very, very good presenters. Pastors. As you go to church every Sunday, they are one of the people you should learn from because they are brilliant when they are presenting. You understand? Because they do it every time, so they are always good at it. You understand? And they don't want people to be sleeping in their congregation because if you sleep, you might not put offering. You understand? They don't want you to sleep. You should always be agile. That's why if you look at sometimes, pastor will just come and do with the mic. All of you sleeping will wake up. You understand? You find one time and they will hit drum. Bash, 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 bash. Make some noise. Everybody. You know, amen, amen. And you are sleeping. You understand? So that area now has to do with tone. Okay. When I was having a presentation for a cryptocurrency seminar, that was more of like my first presentation outside what I used to present, I used to read from. This one now requires me to speak like an expert and I know what I am talking about. In this regard, now I know a lot about what I was talking about, but I wasn't over prepared. I didn't even have a slide going for that presentation. I didn't even know it was going to be like that. And it was one of my first. Okay. Cut long story short, that presentation was more of like a flop. It didn't actually work out. You understand? I made lots of mistakes. One of the mistakes was I was speaking softly, and at some point I had to cross my hand. Sonny was there also. I had to cross my hand like this. And they say if you've crossed your hand, the confidence has dropped already. You understand? Notice me since I've been talking. I have not crossed my hand even once, even by mistake. Do you notice? If not now that I'm doing it. I'm always keeping my hands like this. I'm talking like this. I'm talking like this. I'm talking like this. You understand? I'm opening my eyes a little bit. I'm shaking my head, using my body language to communicate also. All right? So I am always seeming confident at every point in time. You understand? Also, when I was having the sales call and all of that, on the sales script, one of the steps there talks about taking control of the call. I'm going a little bit outside our topic right now, but I just want you guys to get the point. Taking control of the call. You always want to be in charge. You understand? Though you might not make it seem obvious, okay, but you are in charge. Because if you're not in charge, somebody else will take control, take over. If you're on stage presenting and you're not confident enough, somebody else will take over. I guarantee you, no matter the stage. Either somebody start asking you a question, your audience start asking you a question, or they start something else will just happen. Like nobody's listening. Because they know that you don't know what you're saying or you don't seem confident enough. So when I was having that presentation, one of the things I ended up doing was, as I knew that I was flopping already and making so much mistakes, I just told my colleague he should come and take over. I just told him, Mr. Williams, take over now. So I stepped aside and he came and took over. And when he came to present, okay, he now said, thank you very much. He told me thank you for the one I did. And he opened his own slide. Abi? He started talking with a slide. Well-structured slide already. So he was ready and he started talking about this and he talks to the people. He goes here, he goes here, he goes there, you know. And he took back control of the moment. You understand? The only thing that helped mine that day was the fact that I actually know what I was talking about, but I can't say it confidently. I just know it, but can't present it. I think the little one the people get to hear from me was some things they don't even know about, because I was talking about blockchain technology and all of that at the time. So body language is something you consider. Your body language, you know. Some ladies don't mind, when they are present, they will do catwalk on the stage. You know, they are using it to influence, they are using it to communicate what they want to say and all of that, you know. And how they demonstrate also. Like I was watching a presentation from Grant Cardone's wife, the way she was presenting, the way she was talking, the way it's more of like she was influencing, like she's trying to enter you. She's talking to the audience. You understand? Using her body language, demonstrating, drawing on her board, doing different things at the same time. Do you understand? So that's for body language, okay? So now, next thing right here is PowerPoint or slide when it comes to presenting. What so many people around the world knows about, either PowerPoint or Google Slide. All right? That just help them present step by step, step by step by step by step. So many people use this. It's just like this is the WordPress of presenting. When it comes to WordPress is like the biggest CMS when it comes to building websites. I know some of you might not know what I'm talking about, but this is like this is like the Amazon of online shopping. Abi? That flies now, yeah? This is the Amazon of online shopping. And this is the Google of search engines. You understand? The Baba of the Babas. Either PowerPoint or Google Slide. This is what people use for presentations, all right? So for presentation slide now, okay, you should use your PowerPoint or your slide now should what? It should rely heavily on images. You can see my own, since I've been sliding, there was pictures, just to give you guys insight of what I am talking about. So it should rely heavily on images because you want to demonstrate, you want people to understand what you are saying just by, they say, what they call it, pictures speaks a 1,000 words, Abby. You see some presentation, they'll just put one big, maybe Lamborghini car on the slide, Lamborghini car, or a big house. That's no write-up, no nothing, just a house. And the person is saying something about the house. Do you understand? It's giving you insight. You can imagine what the individual is talking about just by looking at the image. So your presentation slide should always rely heavily on images. Secondly, has only 1 or 2 sentences per slide. Like you should not have too many things. You can see that since I've been sliding, they're usually short, maybe bullet. So I just talk on those bullets, or maybe just one line sometimes. So you don't want to have, I've seen somebody's presentation I wanted to run that day. It was filled with write-up like he was writing a book. How can you present a book on, what's it called? On PowerPoint, you know? So it should be summarized or bullet points or no. Per slide, Abi. So here it says, has only 1 or 2 sentences per slide. The next one is, it has to entertain. Your presentation needs to entertain. By entertainment, you use some of your images to entertain people. The images that is on your presentation. If it's to other presentation that I had, maybe like the Creatify presentation and all of that, you see motion graphics just moving around. To just be playing like this. GIF images, they're just playing, moving around. They're entertaining the audience just by looking at it alone. This is just like a visual template of what your PowerPoint can look like if you put all of them on a board, okay? You can see the design right there. It will just be like that, all right? I'm mostly following a branding style. It's carrying your color and all of that. You want to make sure of that. So the next thing right here we have for presentation is presentation setup. Before we started this class, if you notice, when they were setting up the camera, setting up the light and all of that, it's part of the setup. There is a board, make sure that there's a white piece of paper here. The pens are working, it was tested, am I correct? Pens were tested, the computer screen was set up, the presentation was set up also on it. All these things are called setup. The chair positioning and all of that, the arrangement, where the stage is going to be, it is a setup. All right, so you want to know how to do all of this setup. Your setup can just be how to basically on a TV screen that you want to present with, or an LED screen, or a projector. Okay, that's what your setup should be or can be. So, presentation slide setup tools and resources that you can basically use for your setup are Microsoft PowerPoint. All right, that's the first one. Second one is whiteboard, something like this. You want to have something, all right, which can help you. In this case, I'm using both. Slide and this one. Or you can use Google Slide. Like this one we're viewing on right now is Google Slide. Okay, on this device is Google Slides. All right, it's not Microsoft PowerPoint. You can either use Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slide in this case. Also, for setup, also you want to get pictures, okay, from free stock websites, royalty free pictures. Don't go and be using somebody's picture that is copyrighted for your presentation, so that they don't come and sue you before you go and put somebody's image on a big screen and you are not allowed to, and that presentation is on camera, which is going everywhere worldwide, and you don't have right to use these images. You might just get yourself into trouble. So always use copyright free pictures, or use your own pictures. If you don't have your own, use copyright free, or go and look for free stock websites. It is called free stock websites. When you just go on Google, just type free stock websites, boom, you start seeing them. To name a few, off the top of my head, there is pexels.com, Pixabay, Unsplash, Boss Shopify. There are so many of them out there. They are free pictures you can just basically use. Okay. Then the last but not the least is use of controller. If you are using a projector, most projectors have controller, like a remote that you use to change your slides instead of me pressing here. Okay. Like for example, now I've been pressing here. This is also a controller. Do you understand? You should know how to use it. If I don't know how to use and go to the next slide, there is a problem. Do you understand? So and I say, where do I go next? So now you need to know how to use a controller. Whether you are a male or female, you not say, oh, tech is not my thing, tech is not my thing. Controllers are not that technical. They're usually very simple. Up button, down button, up button, down button, up button, down button, for the most part. Including this one we're looking at on the computer, you can see me going up button, down button, up button, down button. Simple. It's not rocket science, okay? We don't need to go to a aeronautics school to learn that one. We can just basically do it, you know? So you need to learn how to use your controller, whether you're using a computer, a device, or a screen. Like before, when we used to present here in this office, we usually use the screen with an Android phone, and we connect the Android phone to the screen. So we project from the Android phone, all right? Using, what do we use? Xender or Cast. Okay, we use Cast. Yeah, we use Cast. And again, if we want to connect that Android phone to a computer, we use Xender for the most part. And we can be controlling what the computer screen is seeing from the Android phone, so as the TV screen also. So if you're presenting, you should be able to use things like that. For example, you're using the TV screen, the LED screen, and you're using an Android phone to control it. So as you slide on the Android phone, it slides on the TV screen also. You'll get my point. So you need to know how to use these things. So that's why we put it right here, call it use of controller. You need to know anything you're using as a controller, you should be able to operate it very well. If you're not tech savvy, though these things are very basic, like I say, up or down button, very, very basic. But if you don't want to do up or down, come and do the traditional one. Get your whiteboard, a pen, and just roll on it. Now the next one right here, we're almost coming close to an end. We'll soon be done in just a moment, is self-awareness. So we've come to this part, okay, which is the third step in our presentation, which is audience and self-awareness. This is the point where you take note of your audience very, very well. Okay, you can see this illustration here talking about audience and self-awareness. So for this part, we only have these things, okay? The first one right here is energy, okay? What is the energy of the room? Is the energy what you want to see or not? Is the energy motivating, inspiring? Is the energy dull? Are people sleeping on your audience or not? You should pay attention to that thing. The next one here say pay attention, details. That's what I'm already talking about now. That details, whichever way somebody is behaving, you should take that into consideration. You understand? Pay attention to what they are saying, whether they are learning or they are not learning. If you are presenting and some people are not learning anything, and you can tell already, you are not delivering. In your category, what do we call it? We call it speech category. Your speech category, the last one, which is delivery, is not being achieved, meaning there's no effective communication, right? So you need to pay attention to that, which at that moment you are presenting, your audience is what matters to you. So take note of them. Maybe you are talking too long for a long time. Sometimes when I'm having a presentation, I'm talking too long. People start fidgeting, they start moving. I say, this one's tired already. Sometimes I might not say, okay, let's consider them, end it. But some people will say, you sit down there and listen to the. If you like, shake heaven and earth. You will stay there. You will hear. I will continue. You don't pay deaf ear and continue. The only problem there with that kind of decision is that your communication will not be effective. That's just the only challenge with that. You understand? So at all times, you need to be paying very close attention to your audience. Okay, pay close attention to the details and what is the energy of the room saying. You understand? Pay attention to the energy. Some energy are good. It is nice at that moment. Sometimes depending on how you started the presentation, actually, you get. So pay close attention. That's what this part is saying. If you're watching this video on beneath this, below this video, there will be a worksheet. So you can basically use the worksheet. And also some of the templates for presentation, like PowerPoint slides and all of that. You can basically use them, okay, to make your own presentation, do role play and all of that. So we've come to the end of today's class. As the topic says, how to make a great presentation. So all you basically need to do is to take massive action, start presenting, putting this into practice every single time. Okay, whether you're on stage, you want to present on Zoom, wherever you are, put in the work, following these presentation principles we looked at today, and start making great presentation, either to inform, influence, or persuade people at every single time, to help sell a product or a service, or to pitch your idea. Maybe you have an idea you want to pitch to maybe some people, maybe to fund it and all of that. You need to make sure your presentation is structured properly, you practice it, you rehearse very well, prepare yourself very well and deliver it. Go out there and kill a presentation. Keep doing this every single time, because practice makes perfect and all those cool stuff. So my name is Francis Abogonye. I am privileged or happy to be here, to be sharing this with you right here today and start putting this into practice. Until next time, I'll be seeing you in another one, and hope you enjoy the rest of your class. Bye.